Welcome back to the Dink and Dish podcast. My name is Barbara Brodowski. I'm here with fitness legend and icon Tammy Lee Webb. And we are two fitness experts and pickleball enthusiasts that just love the game. And we're trying to convince people that dinking's not a warm-up.
Dinking is not a warm-up.
I saw the funniest meme. I think you sent it to me. A meme that said, here I am practicing warming up with my dinking, knowing that I'm going to just
90% of warm-up is dinking when I know 90% is going to be banging it. Right?
Exactly right. Yes.
Which is so true. It's so true.
And
I had, because we were playing this morning and there was a tennis like clinic over next to us. And I used to play tennis. I used to play in a league and really into tennis. But I noticed tennis warm-up is totally opposite than pickleball warm-up.
Yeah.
So pickleball warm-up, we started at the kitchen, right? We should start at the kitchen and then we move mid-court and then we go back, right? Well, tennis starts at the back of the line, moves midway, and then moves to the net.
I think pickleball just changed it to be different because actually the tennis feels smarter. I think we talked about a couple weeks ago. Like I prefer to start back
on the baseline
and get your shoulders warm. Yes, and then get in. I know. I agree. I think sometimes pickleball and tennis are like stepsisters that want to fight for no reason. And we just can't accept that. Yeah, that's a smart thing to do. But because I'm so new, I'm like, yeah, it's actually a smart thing to do. Like I don't have a tennis dog in the fight. So I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's just stupid to dink first.
Yeah. It's kind of like when, those fitness was fitness back in the days. We were all just in a group room, right? And doing fitness. And now we're like, no, I do yoga. No, I'm
okay.
No, I'm only
You're right.
Like,
so true.
What?
Just move your body, people. I fully agree.
That's right.
I just got off the pickleball court and I played a thing called Queen of the Court. And it's really fun because it's, it's, people call it serve and switch. So, you serve and then when you win the game, you go up the court and they started me in court 3 again today. So I got a long way to go to court 1. But then you go to the next court. When you win, you split up. It was hard. I think I landed somewhat in the middle tonight, which I love because there's one chick, she never left court 1. She was so good. She was so good. And when I was playing against her with another really great player, it took me a second just to get my groove with her. She was just drilling the ball. And I mean, no soft game to speak of. She's an ex-tennis. I shouldn't say ex, she's a tennis player.
Yeah. Most ex-tennis players or tennis players are bangers when it comes to pickleball.
Damn. She was so good. I mean, they didn't pickle us. And I was playing with Kelsey, and Kelsey's really good. But Kelsey's first loss was with me. I'm like, sorry, Kelsey. Like, I couldn't get my bearings at this chick. She was so good.
Aren't you as good as your partner? Because when you're playing, I mean, you're playing against your opponent. But at the same time, if you're not in sync with your partner or your partner's off or you're off and you feel bad. It's like, God, why can't I'm just having a hard time getting the ball over the net with my forehand when it's usually my best shot. But I mean, you could be doing great and then your partner is having a bad day. And so you're only as good too as your partner. But
well, Kelsey's really good. I let her down. But however, I did beat Kelsey later on. It's like you kind of go up, you go down. And I ended up, if we've had one more round, I'd be on court 1. So I told Rachel we needed to do. We went from the bottom, started at the bottom. Now we're here. But it was such good pickleball because there were some really great players, which is awesome because you play in your own group all the time and you know where to hit. You get used to it.
You get used to where they're going to go, how they're going to hit.
You know what their shot is.
It's always nice to mix that up.
Dang, and this one girl, Kelsey, she had such a great shot at the net. She just does a flick of the wrist and it goes to the corner and out. I'm like, how many times are you going to get me with that shot? And she just kept it corner out. I'm like, I can't even get there. It was so good. It was a textbook case of how to play pickleball. And I was watching it happen. Like there's nothing I could do today. There was nothing. I played good. I kept saying my score is not reflective of how well I'm playing today. How about you?
Today was fun. I mean, we started early because it's been so hot, so we decided to
Oh
play at
yeah.
8 this morning. Nobody else was on the courts but that tennis group, and it just takes, some people just takes a little bit a while to get warmed up. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I hit some. I don't even remember. I just remember looking down at my thumb, and it was all white. And now it's black and blue.
Dang it.
Ball hit it. It's like, wow, but it hit it right on the knuckle,
Yep.
right knuckle.
Yep.
So
Right in
now I'm black
between.
and blue there. But yeah, I played a lot of pickleball this week, and it was fun. But it was kind of with same girls, same women,
Yeah.
which I love. Um, and what I love about it is that we all know each other pretty well, and we laugh. We have a great time.
Yep.
Can yell at each other. That was a bad call. That was not. It was out.
Yeah,
No, it
I
wasn't.
guess.
One of
Yeah.
those.
The comfort.
Where as if I was playing with people that I didn't know, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
so giving them shit like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I was thinking about that. I was going, I need to find maybe a league,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like how we started off, as what we're going to talk about today as beginners in pickleball, starting
Mm-hmm.
out as beginners. Um, and I remember when I started out, I went to our local, which used to be the biggest tennis club, which now is the biggest pickleball. I think they might have
Imagine.
one tennis court left. But I went there, I got in a clinic, and I learned there. That's where I learned. And I went a few times because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to learn the rules, the drills that he had us drill with. And
Mm-hmm.
then from there, I started getting other of my friends that were kind of at the same level, and then we just started playing together.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's an advantage because one of my girlfriends, she goes back and she does I guess she calls it a league, but I don't think it's a league because you're not really playing with other leagues. You're playing
Mm-hmm.
within the group, right?
Yeah.
So they would do Queen of the Court too, but it's not Queen because they have kings there too, or whatever they
Yeah,
are.
like mixed.
But it's one of those things where you will play different players all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need that.
Yep.
And I do take a lesson, I probably take a lesson from a pro a couple times a month, and that's helpful. I've noticed like it's definitely elevated my
Mm-hmm.
game a little bit. But when I get into playing, I say in my head, what is it that I want to work on today? What
Mm-hmm.
is my goal? And when I see that I'm starting to make mistakes, I have to go back to basics. And basics
Yep.
is keeping your eye on the ball to your paddle. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest mistakes we do is that we see as we think we're better. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
can kill the
Right.
shot. And the ball's coming and we see where we want to hit it, but we're not watching the ball to the paddle.
So it goes into the net.
It goes into the net or goes way out, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I do
anyway,
agree playing with a different group. And we do, like tonight was a different group. It was three of us from our core group, and then everyone else is from a different group. So it is super helpful. And it's not as comfortable. It's not as comfortable because we all have our personality types, and
yeah.
I'm always extra and have extra energy. And I call them body leaks. Like I get excited and I dance and I flip my hair, whatever. And that's not everyone's cup of tea. And I am fully aware of that. That's why I have my group of people and I am their
Right.
cup of tea. So when I play with a group like this, I know some ladies are like, oh, I just know. So
Right.
I'll still be me, but I'll just tone it down a little bit
Yeah.
because I do know that I'm not everyone's cup of tea on the court, but I have so freaking much fun, and I can't stop myself from when I was in Colorado. So I got back from Colorado. We didn't get to play much pickleball because of the weather, but when we
Yeah.
did play, all my extra movement patterns I do, you cannot do in Colorado because you lose your breath. So,
Oh
like I do,
yeah.
like I hit and I spin and I
Altitude.
jump, or ay yay yay, like it was like like I had to be a different player. They're like very like
Yeah.
don't get excited. And my friend Tony's the same way. We have the spins and the hair flips like when we get excited. None of that because it was too much. Then I couldn't breathe. I'm like, I couldn't breathe. It was wild. So we're going to talk today about playing with beginners. And beginners, by the way, are not necessarily beginners, but people who are not at the same level as your gaggle is probably the best way to describe them.
Mhm.
So they can be full on beginner, but usually at our level, you're going to have, if we're both 3.5, I'm just guessing, Tamily.
Yeah.
But 3.5, you bring a 3.2 into the mix, 3.1 into the mix, and it changes the whole feel and vibe of the game.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad feeling. Like we had it happen just tonight. One of the girls was always on court 3, wanted to wrap up with us on court 1. And she was the weakest player, obviously, super nice lady. And I was so excited to play with her. We got our butts kicked, by the way. I think Rachel and Kelsey beat us like 1-11. But it's so good for the beginner because it completely helps them become a better player. And we were all beginners at one point. And like I said, I started playing at my dad's house. Like I had never played pickleball before. And these gentlemen were so welcoming to me who, I was just cocky. Like, I'll be good at this. I know I can figure this out.
I'm an athlete. I can do this.
I'm an athlete. Like I can get the ball. How hard is it? But I appreciate so much those people that were welcoming to me who let me learn the game. And I think that's all part of the magic too, is letting people learn the game and having that grace for them. Because like I said, we were talking pre-show, is this chick Mackie, I haven't seen her in like maybe 3-4 weeks, maybe a month. Chick was like on fire. And I said, Mackie, you've gotten so good. And she's like, because everyone targets me. I'm like,
well, yeah, you'll get more play.
We're creating our own monster now. Like we're creating our own, like, yeah, we target her, target Rachel. I'm going to target Mackie. And Mackie's like, yeah, target me now, girl. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. This brings me back to one of my best friends that I was playing with this morning, Mindy, who always listens to our podcast when she's cooking. So shout out to Mindy. But, she, for some reason, I don't know why we were targeting her, because she was the one that was a little off today. And her and I played together first. We played together for two matches, and then we rotate, and then we play with another partner for 2 and then 2. And it wasn't until probably, I don't know, the third game, she was getting back everything. Everybody was hitting her, and she was somehow getting them back. And I was thinking, okay, why didn't you play like that with me? Well, she was still warming up. She was a little off her game, as we all have. But I was thinking at the same time, man, that's going to improve her game. Because if you're getting all the balls, eventually you got to step up to the plate.
Yeah. And you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. Like my friend Christy, she's a little thing. I hit hard and I hit to her feet. I try to hit to feet. I just try. I don't know. If I was that good, I hit the corners all day, but I'm not that good. I just hit where I hit. But Christy would jump away from the ball, or the ball would hit her. She'd bruise. And so she just puts her paddle, she stays back and she puts her paddle down. Christy does not turn or flinch from the ball now. She returns every hard smack I send her way. I'm like, well, I created that now.
That's the way that it should be. You should get your racket down there and have the balls. And the other thing is not to retreat, attack. So
that's what she's doing now. I'm like, well, I created that monster. Like it's so funny. One thing too about beginners, I'm using the term loosely. It's not a beginner, but someone who is playing on a more intermediate to advanced court and falls under beginner intermediate. So they're good. They're qualified to play on the court, but they don't have the exact same skill set. One thing I want to be really cognizant of is we talked briefly about people who are falling. So we've had 3 or 4 falls on our court in the past 2 weeks. And these are intermediate players. They're not beginners. They're intermediate players that, what's it called when you get over your skis? Like you get in front of your skis, that terminology, like you just kind of go over, like, your skis are like a snow skier. Like if you're a slalom guy and you get over your skis and you fall, it's like you're running and they kind of run and their body falls forward and they end up falling. And it happened to 3 or 4 of my group last week. And I always encourage roll. Like when you're, if you can learn to
tuck and roll. I think it was this week.
It was
roll last week or this week. I can't remember.
But get it together in your head.
And roll, jump back up, got back on the court.
You got back up.
And of course, everybody is like, "Are you okay? I'm like, "Yes, keep going. The ball's not dead.
Yes,
I'm okay. If I'm not okay, I'm down. I'm not getting up."
Right. Pop back up if you can. That's my son played college football. That was the rule was, listen, you're not going to be the kid that gets to fake an injury because your mom will be on the field making sure you're okay. So players stay down to catch their breath And it's like, oh, the player's injured, but they're not injured. They're just, but it's not fair to the mom in the stands thinking their kid's injured. And the same as I think with pickleball. If you're down, pop back up unless you know otherwise. Because we can figure it out when you're standing, but to beat on the ground, it looks so traumatic. We had one girl hit the ground pretty hard, stop on the ground, like just stopped. And she didn't have a big fall. My friend Rachel actually had where this, she got over her skis, she kind of ran forward. Tammy, she rolled, and all I could say from the side is, get up, pop up, pop up. I was screaming, pop up. She popped right up. I mean, she had a huge bruise, but I do believe that the roll, people want to fall on their wrists and kind of like fall on their wrists and stop themselves. Pull in and pull your chin in so you don't hit your head, and just let your
let your body roll.
Let your body take
it. Tuck position
and
just roll. It's a really good protector, but people will want to catch themselves and they stick their hand out and
break their wrists.
The wrist,
or fall back on their heads because their wrists give out. So whatever you can do to drop and roll. I mean, I don't know exactly how to drop and roll. I just know that I've seen it. I've seen people do it and not do it. And Rachel did it. She kind of pulled her body in, so nothing got hurt except for her knee. Like her knee did take, and she had a huge bruise on her knee, but unscathed otherwise, which is really important. Like unscathed otherwise, And then I think too is when they usually happen on the lob or the corner shots. And I think too, deciding one way or the other, am I going to go for that corner shot or just let it go? Like, what's the risk versus reward? What's the risk versus reward here?
That is a good point, because when my knees are really bad, and of course my opponents know it, and they know that I'm not going to get to the thing, it's like, oh, okay, so let's take advantage of Tammy Lee because her knees are really bad. I can't get the push off, but lately my knees have been really good. I am getting that ball no matter what. I've been able to get some really good ones, running to the net, getting it over and getting back. But it's learning to go, is that worth it? Like one person will lob and I'm already on, my momentum, everything's going forward. And I know that if I stop, I'm going to jam my knees to go back. And it's like, it's not worth it. It's a point. That's okay. You can have it.
And also, when you're playing with a lobber, some people are known for the lob. Like Rachel's known for the lob. Like Rachel in our group, she's known for the lob, and she gets us 9 times out of 10 with the lob. So when we play with Rachel, one of us tends to stay back a little bit, like I call it I formation, because that way I can turn my body and run towards the ball and then just take a slap at it versus trying to both be at the net and back up. If someone's a lobber, because she gets us more with a lob than anything, and the running backwards too. We talk about being really dangerous. It's always a shuffle. It's a shuffle. Turn your body to the side and shuffle to get to the ball versus pedaling backwards, because pedaling backwards is where the injuries are going to happen.
Because you never know.
At the top of your head, what is one of let's 3 things, Tammy Lee, that what can a beginner intermediate player do to help strengthen what they need to strengthen to be competitive? Like, what can a beginner do? Like, do these 3 things and it'll help you on the pickleball court.
The first thing that comes to mind is footwork.
Okay.
If you can do, I don't know what we call them, but they look like a ladder.
The ladders.
The ladders.
Yeah. Yep.
And doing, side crossovers. You and I are so good at that because of our industry. We've been teaching forever, grapevines, crossovers, you name it. So I really feel like the footwork is perfectly fine. But when I watch beginners, and I still have problems because I'm thinking the ball, because I know that my opponents hit so well and they're going to go cross court. But I head cross court and then they go down the middle. So my feet are not in the right position. But I would definitely work on your footwork for number 1. The other thing is eye-hand coordination. Like a lot of people don't understand, that this is an eye-hand coordination game.
Oh yeah.
So, working on things that can improve that would be great. The other thing is always I believe in lower body strength. So I always take my fabric bands, those big sports
Mm-hmm.
bands,
Mm-hmm.
glute loops, and I'm always strengthening my glutes because those are the powerhouse that's going to
Yep.
move your body. So have good footwork, have strong glutes, and then of course anything mobility in your
Mm-hmm.
shoulders because this overhead, most everything is going to be a rotation, right?
Yeah.
So it's a rotation back, either under, over, or backhand.
Isn't it funny how, if you think about it, when we warm up in pickleball, you don't see people like doing like big arm circles. That's one of the first things you should do is like
Yeah,
any type of arm circles. You're going to be smacking forward. You're going to be going
yeah,
cross. You're going to be going like. So what can you do to warm up? Oh, let's dink. Let's just let's pull our arm in like a little T-Rex and let's dink.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, it makes me so frustrated because prepare your body for what's to come. And I think
yeah,
it happens with beginners too, because maybe they don't have a fitness background. I talked earlier to you, Tim, pre-show about people who have a hard time getting from, I say, getting off the starting blocks. So if they're at the baseline and they serve it, and you're waiting for the third shot drop, but I'll tell you the shot to take is the second shot drop if you can. If you know your opponent
yeah.
doesn't have that get up and go,
Mm-hmm.
drop it in the kitchen because they're at the baseline waiting for a drive.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to get it. What can that person do that's at the baseline to work on getting their speed, getting
Those are explosive. Those are plyometrics.
yes.
So anything that, exploding off of both feet, jumping
Mm-hmm.
forward, whether it's forward, backward, side to side, but it's like a sprinter. You've got to be able to
Yeah.
shoot off of that. So anytime, I don't do these because of my knees, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes and I don't recommend it for people my age, but doing the box jumps when you're
Yep.
jumping up.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are a little hard, but it would just be having, just jumping, but loading your body.
Yep.
So like I have like a thing that goes over the shoulders.
Oh, smart.
So it's even. So
Mm-hmm.
it gives me an extra 10 or 20 pounds. And then I'm trying to be explosive. So then when you
Mm-hmm.
take that off, you're explosive. And I
Okay.
saw this drill. I don't know if you saw that. I was watching some guy that I follow. But anyway, he's like, if you want to get quicker at the net, and then you start closer in the net. So you
Yeah.
take 2 steps in from the kitchen, and you try and get the ball back and forth like this, and then take another step back. And then, because it's very quick when you're that
Mm-hmm.
close.
Yeah.
And then by the time you go back behind the kitchen, it almost seems slow
Yeah.
because
Okay.
it's not, you've already programmed your body going, okay, I got to keep watching the ball. So if you have, what are those? I forget what they're called, but the ping pong that has the ball and the string
Oh,
attached to
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Doing, doing, doing. Yes,
going,
yes,
going,
yes,
going.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that would help a lot. So if you do that, bing, 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 that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Same with the pickleball. If you can do it, and that's kind of hard when if you're a beginner doing that here, but
Mm-hmm.
it will help. It will speed up your reaction time at that ball
Okay.
because you started a lot quicker and then pulling it back.
So there's certain things that a beginner, intermediate person can do to get better, but it does take a little bit of, well, first of all, I would say it's just about reps, time on your feet, more games played. The more games you play, the better you'll get. I know
Yes.
people who go in and drill, and we always say we're gonna go in and drill today, and the next thing we're playing and we're just banging the crap out of the ball. So we are not as diligent or as disciplined as some people to drill, but those are great drills to get your eye hand and how you can hold your paddle.
And I
Because
I would recommend that go
yes,
and get drill. So I try and do
yes,
once a week a clinic with there's 4 of us in our pro,
mm-hmm,
and I love how she has this warm up. Now we do start with the dinking.
mm-hmm.
So we each have a ball. We're dinking, and then we have to go cross court. So 2 balls are going. We're
Oh yeah,
dinking
we've
this
done that one.
way.
Yep,
Okay. And then
yep,
we have to switch. So we're working both on our backhand,
mm-hmm,
our forehand. Then we step back mid court,
mm-hmm.
and one of us, one side steps back. and so that they're hitting them to us, and we're trying to drop them back into the kitchen, and then we go back to the baseline. So we go through this whole series of a warm-up, which I think is so great. But when you're playing with girls, nobody wants to take the time to do that.
No.
But it does help us. But then when we start playing, we're supposed to be working on the things that so she'll always say, Tammy Lee, what is it that you want to work on today? And a lot of times I'll say, I've gotten better at this, but one time I said, okay, I want when, Denise smacks the ball at me, how to get that back. And it's just holding it here, but not having to death grip. It's just holding it, and it will go back. So it's just, what are those things? And I just pick one or two things, and those are the things that I want to focus on while I'm playing. And as a beginner, you shouldn't be worrying about making a killer shot or the winning shot. It's not about that. It's about keeping the ball in play.
Right.
I think I've told you in the past that my neighbor, they're, I wouldn't call them beginners anymore, but they're definitely a lower level play than my group. And so I'll go out and play with them, because it's harder when you're at a 3-5 or whatever, and trying to play with a 3-0 and keeping the ball, just keep it in. But I find myself trying to feed them.
Yeah.
I want to, I want them to be successful. I want them to, hit this. And they're very open to having me make suggestions, or going, that was a great shot, this time, next time, maybe try it over there, or whatever the situation may be.
Yeah. I think there's I think like today when we were wrapping up, someone wanted to play with us who was a lower level, and I wanted to play with the other group. It would have been more fun. But we have to remember, there's someone opened the door for me someone opened the door for me. So we should always, it's because it's not about who's going to win. It's about how can I help? How can I become better by playing with her and against these two that were really, really good. So but I really do think too that beginner, intermediate people, and I'm intermediate, a great example, the person that can't jump off the line and get to a short shot, that will always be her weakness unless she does something about it. I think that's my whole point. She's not,
she's got to make that difference in her fitness ability.
Yes, because eventually it will be her weakness, and then we'll start targeting her, because you target someone's weakness, right? Like people will target my left side because I'm so right hand dominant. Like I know when they're doing, like, God, son of a. But so I think beginners need to always keep their training and keep their injury prevention, which is strength training, mobility, flexibility, drinking your water. Those things have to be always top of mind, because if they're not, then it's going to be a short-lived hobby for them, because they're not doing the things to stay in the game.
Yeah.
So.
So true.
That's it. But I do enjoy playing, with all, I love it when I play this chick today, this one chick in the court. She would never play with me. She'd kick my butt 5 times over. Like, she was so nice. I mean, I got her a couple times. So she got me 20 times. I got her 2. I was so proud of my 2. You're so proud. Like, I did it.
That's right. If you can just get her just even once, you're doing well.
Oh, because they know how to not feed you the ball. Like, I play with people who just feed me the ball for the shake and bake all day. Like, you give me a certain shot, and they know they did it, like, crap. Because next thing the ball's coming cross court. Like, there's certain people, I have my shot, but now people are so smart to my shot that I don't get it fed to me very often anymore. Like, there's not a whole shake and bake.
Like, no, I'm going to take that away from you.
Yeah, we're not giving her that shot. Now, do you have trivia for us?
Trivia. Okay. True or false?
Oh, gosh. Okay, good. Easy. 50-50.
I know. That's pretty easy.
That's good for me. 50. It's good.
The pickleball net was, not true or false. I'll give you 3 choices.
Okay.
The first pickleball net was either A, a pickleball net, B, a ping pong net, or C, a badminton net.
I'm going to go badminton, because when you were saying, I'm thinking, it was probably a badminton net.
Yes, it is.
Was it? Okay, good.
It's badminton.
Have you watched badminton in the Olympics?
I haven't, but I just
Tell me,
watched some
like,
table tennis.
okay, so okay. First of all, they're on the spectrum. Like that group
Yeah,
of people to do be able. It's like I think of Forrest Gump. Like that's
yeah.
a different level of. I don't even know how they do that. But I was watching
I was saying,
badminton.
I can't follow the ball.
No,
It's going so fast. I'm like, where is it?
I think one guy was serving. He was like dropping it off his head.
Yes.
You saw
What is that?
what?
It's
I don't
almost
know.
like,
I don't
I'm like,
know.
are they talking to the ball?
There's something
And
so
then boom.
special about ping pong players in the Olympics. I we could do a whole thing on just the Olympics, right? Like there's been
Yeah.
so many. You see the pole vaulter?
The one that didn't win because his Johnson got in the way.
Yes. Oh my God, the memes for that one was great. Oh my
And
God,
then I heard somebody gave some company is offering him compression underwears for the rest of his life.
I'm so I there's moments in the Olympics, like of course it's going to be Simone Biles and it's going to be a lot of the runners and the swimmers, the Ledecky, like all these people. I hope I got her name right. There's so many special things about the Olympics. They're like great moments. Then there's the other moments, like the ping pong guy that rolls it off his nose, and there's the men that come in from the triathlon and they're like throwing up, and they've basically lost all control of their faculties.
Yeah.
And they collapse and they get to the finish line. The women finish and they're like high fiving each other and they're cheering each other on. Like men and women are so different at the finish line. Like we're like, yeah, and the men are like collapsing. There's so many moments in the Olympics, like Snoop Dogg and Flavor Flav. Like, come on, Snoop Dogg has been the best part of the Olympics, and so is Flavor Flav. Like those two, I mean, America's
And they
sweethearts.
Flavor Flav, I think, did some really amazing things to
Oh,
help out some of the
yep,
players that were like, I
yep,
don't even have money to pay for
yeah.
my rent. I'm here,
And
but
and I think
so
Snoop Dogg is getting paid to be. I don't correct
oh
me if I'm
yeah,
wrong,
I'm
but I do
sure.
believe Snoop Dogg is like a paid person to hype it up. Flavor
Yeah,
Flav paid
isn't.
for women to be there. He
Mm-hmm.
sponsored the women's polo team, water polo team. Like
Yeah.
it, who knew like that Flavor Flav and Snoop Dogg, and then the guy, the pole vaulter guy, which is an amazing story, cracked me up. And then tonight I was watching women's volleyball. It was Canada against Brazil. And I mean, I just can't get over the women who they're
Amazing.
stunning and
Great
strong.
athletes. And
Oh,
talk about better and stronger than they were back
oh,
in the earlier days. They just keep
oh,
getting better.
because they're
Um,
understanding training, they're
mhm.
understanding purposeful training for what they're doing, sports specific training, which
Yeah.
is not a new thing, but people are really getting into more sports specific training. And that's what we kind of talk about with our pickleball prehab. It's like, it's very
Yeah, it's
sports
great.
specific. How you
You
warm up
have to
for
you
ping
have
pong
to
is not how
have
you warm up for
physical.
pickleball. Yeah.
You do. You every sport has to do some physical training, but the one common thread in all of them, it doesn't matter what they're doing, they have to have a strong core. That is the
Yeah.
one common
Oh,
thread.
yeah.
The other thing that I really enjoyed watching, which was I was surprised I didn't know they had this, was the relay with both men and women.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. So the men, and then they pass off to the women, and then the men and the women. Yeah, it was
Mixed, like
fabulous.
mixed run. I did
Mixed
not know that.
relays.
Is that new?
It must be. I didn't see
It's
it
got to be new.
before. Hmm.
There's just I love it. I love the Olympics. I love it for the nationalism. I love how
Yeah.
it's no different. I don't watch soccer, but I love the World Cup because I love how countries. Dang, it's just so cool to
Yeah.
to
You're like,
watch
I
your
want to be on that
country.
podium. I'm going to get up there. I'm going to
Oh, it's
fight to
so
the end
good.
to get there.
We could talk
Yeah.
about the Olympics all day, and but I like talking about things like Flavor Flav and Snoop Dogg and the pole vaulter guy and
Yeah.
all the other funny things that have happened in Olympics. Men finishing the triathlon, like dude, get it together. Like the women finished in their and granted they were quicker than the women. I get it, but women hold it
Yeah.
together much better than the men at the finish line. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, well, this has been fun. I'm glad we're back together again. I was on vacation. You're on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
almost ready
long
to.
summer.
Yeah, it's not done yet though. It's not done. It's early. It's still August. We got one whole month left to get something done. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Follow us on One Pickleball Prehab
Rehab.
on Instagram. That's where we post most of our stuff. Try to do Fashion Friday today, so I have a little Fashion Friday to post. So I love doing a little fashion stuff, and we try to do some fun memes on there too. So follow us over there. And really, what we try to do more than anything is help you not get hurt playing pickleball. So there'll be,
Yeah.
Tammy Lee creates great content, strength training. And I love your stuff that's compound moves, because if people can learn how to get it done faster and do two things at once, it's so good for your brain, but it's also so good for your body to incorporate more muscle groups than just like a bicep curl. You do a bicep curl in a squat, or a bicep curl in a leg lowering for your core. There's so many things you can do. They're so smart. So,
well, and everybody's tight on time. So why not, take
yes.
even 3 or 4 exercises and get the whole thing done in 10 minutes.
Yes. And I think because we come from the generation where classes started at 9 o'clock and ran till 10 o'clock,
yeah,
our brain thinks it needs to be an hour of fitness, but it doesn't. It needs to be smart 15, 20 minutes. If you can do 15 to 20 minutes of good strength training, you're golden. It's not about time, it's about what you're actually doing. So,
yeah. And
all
if you
right.
guys want to see a lot of the content in a fuller format, it's on Web Workouts.
Yes.
And yeah, it is a subscription, but you can try it for a month, and you can quit.
Great content. You have enough content too
anytime
on there, don't you, to keep people going for a long time? Like if they gone on now,
time.
it's like
and,
they have
and every
catalogs.
month there's a newsletter, and I upload a new workout every month.
So there's tons of stuff on there that you could binge.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
have a great week, everybody. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.